How many lights do you really need in the studio? You can do a lot with one light, but today I want to show you how adding a second strobe to your studio setup gives you so much more control and versatility. Hey everybody, Lindsay Adler here. Some of my favorite photographers have made beautiful images with just a single light. So why would you add a second light to the equation? Your main light is what controls the direction of light, the quality of light, the overall mood of the image. But when you add a second strobe to the equation, this is what allows you to control separation and depth. So today what we're going to take a look at is how you create that separation, how you add that depth to your scene. Your second light can be a background light, a rim light, and a fill light. And each one of those choices is going to give you dramatically different results. So here's what we're going to do today. We are going to set our main light and forget it. It's going to stay in the exact same place. And then I'm just going to vary my second strobe so that you can see how little tweaks will give you totally different results. But we are going to change the position of the light, the modifiers, and add a gel for a creative effect. So where I want to begin first is actually by lighting the background. Now the background that we're using here today is a Savage Universal Fashion Gray. This is going to give us a lot of versatility because if I light the gray, I can make it pure white. If I underlight it, I can make it pure black. If I add a gel, I can change the color. So this is why it's one of my favorite backgrounds if I need to achieve a lot of versatility very quickly. Now the strobes that I'm using here are Profoto Pro D3s. Our main light is a 4-foot Octabox. This is going to give us a soft quality of light on the face. Now, one of the things that I want you to notice is that the light is actually pointed across the frame. It's feathered, and the reason we're doing that is I want to control where the light is spreading. So by feathering or pointing it across the frame, it's going to reduce the amount of light on the background. So I want to begin with showing you what our main light is contributing to this shot. In this first image, we are using only our main light, and you can see it's creating a soft, beautiful quality of light on the face with dramatic sculpting. And you'll also notice the background goes dark due to the feathering of the light. And now we need to decide when we add our second strobe, how is it going to be used to create depth and dimension in the image? Over on the right-hand side, you can see the second light is there on a rolling stand. And this is going to allow us to quickly move it to change the job, the purpose of the light. So where we're going to begin is we're going to use it as a background light. We have it turned up rather high power, which is going to allow us to take that gray background and make it white. So let's take a look at that. The shot looks completely different because now we have the light background, but we still have the sculpted light on the face. And by the way, if I wanted to change the shot even more, instead of lighting the background white, I could add a gel to that background light. Now, as I look at the quality of light here, when I get a shot in this particular lighting setup, I could create some really interesting images with her pose, perhaps converting it to a high contrast black and white because I have that beautiful sculpting still. So that's the first addition of a second light. But as I mentioned, there's other ways to create contrast. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to flip that light around and add a modifier. We're going to turn the light into a rim light by adding a 1x4-foot strip softbox, which is going to create a nice even highlight on the side of the face. We're going to add a grid to control the spill of light. All right, so we positioned the strip, and one of the things I'm looking for is the position of the light with the modeling light. I'm making sure that it is not a side light on her face, but instead used to give definition to the jaw. Let's take a look at what our rim light is giving us. This image is much more dramatic. The background is dark, the shadows are deep, but the subject doesn't blend into the background because of that beautiful highlight created by our strip softbox. So far, our second light has acted to create separation by lighting the background, acting as a rim. And now what we're going to do is our third and final variation is we're going to bring that second light around to the front to act as a fill light. But we're going to do something a little bit more creative. Instead of it just filling in the shadows, we're going to fill in the shadows and background with a kiss of color. So let me move that light around to the front. With the light around front, I've added a teal gel. And what that's going to do is it's going to fill in the shadows on the face as well as the background. Now, one of the rules of using gels is wherever those are shadows, that's where the color is going to show up most saturated if you introduce a gel. If you want to learn more about this, I have a class called The Magic of Gels. In this instance, I have added a teal. And so take a look what the teal fill is going to add to the scene. Once again, we have a totally different shot just by changing our second light. Now we have teal that fills in the shadows on her face as well as the background. And I see this as something that feels a little bit more like a creative editorial portrait or a fashion editorial. And again, all of this was by keeping the main light in place, but just moving the second strobe around and making little modifications. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work with these changes, and I'm going to do so quickly because our second light is on a stand, so I can make these adjustments really quickly. And I'm going to create images that fit the mood and the energy of each of these different lighting styles. Now today I'm going to be shooting with the Canon R5 Mark II and the Canon RF 24-105mm lens. This is my go-to setup, and it's going to allow me to get a lot of variation really quickly, which is exactly what we're aiming to do today. Okay, so with that, let's get the shot. Okay, so I'm gonna turn you this way. So there you have it, 3 completely different moods, totally different shots, all achieved by just changing the second light. So how many strobes do you really need in the studio? I mean, it all depends. I am regularly shooting with 3, 4, 5 different lights, but I think of it like this. The main light is what controls the overall mood, but the second light, when you introduce that, that's what helps you create depth and dimension. So if you want to see the gear that I use to make these images, be sure to check out the links in the description below. And if you want to see a little bit more of my creative lighting, I've also put some resources in there as well. And if you want to pick up some of the gear that I used today, as always, I recommend you visit Adorama.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.